This may disturb you. Perhaps you won't be able to sleep tonight. The University of Georgia managed to extract carbonate from the atmosphere, and its age was 12,560 years. On March 17, 2025, in the city of Buga, Colombia, at 1447, a metallic sphere breaks through power lines and falls onto a farm field. The strike was supposed to shatter her into pieces. Dents, cracks, and other damages were expected. But when the researchers arrived at the site, they were astonished. The sphere was perfect. No seams, no welded joints, just smooth metal that shouldn't exist, with mysterious symbols on its surface. This is not hieroglyphs or cuneiform. It is something humanity has never seen before. For months, this sphere remained in laboratories while scientists used every available method of research. X-ray beams revealed 3 concentric shells nested within each other, like Russian Matryoshka dolls. 9 microspheres floated between layers, with a tiny chip at the center that remained unidentifiable. And then someone had an idea that could change everything. What if we stop thinking like humans? What if we let quantum technologies take a shot? The thing is, quantum computers don't work with ones and zeros like your regular laptop. They operate on probabilities, superpositions, and patterns that exist simultaneously until they are determined in response. When researchers from the Quantum Laboratory at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology uploaded these mysterious symbols into their latest system, something incredible happened. The symbols were not random. They were equations, not just equations. These patterns correspond to the fundamental constants of our universe, the constants of fine structure that hold atoms together, the golden ratio that nature uses to create everything from galaxies to shells, mathematical blueprints that should not have been cut into a sphere that fell in Colombia. This is no longer science fiction. It is happening right now. A quantum computer has not just deciphered symbols. He unveiled something that confounds physicists, something that suggests the creator of this sphere understood reality at a level we are just beginning to grasp. We are going to show you what this code really means and why some researchers call it the most important discovery in human history. According to information from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology's Quantum Research Lab, the breakthrough occurred on Tuesday at 3 in the morning. They had been at a dead end for several weeks. Classic computers found nothing. Image recognition software failed. Even neural networks trained on all ancient languages yielded no results. Then someone suggested something radical. Load symbols into the IBM processor and connect it to Google's quantum cloud. Allow these machines to think in ways we cannot. This is what distinguishes quantum technologies. Your laptop checks a password one at a time, while a quantum computer does it billions of times simultaneously. He exists in all possible states until he finds the right answer. Imagine searching for one specific grain of sand on the beach. Classical calculations lift each grain, examine it, and leave it in place. Quantum computing envelops the entire beach at once and instantly determines which grain of sand you need. Glyphs and spheres entered the quantum lattice at midnight. 3 hours later, patterns emerged. Not random, but mathematical constants. The first sequence matched Planck's constant to 15 decimal places. This is the smallest possible unit of energy in our universe, a number that defines quantum mechanics. The second sequence contained golden ratio spirals, another mathematical pattern observed in hurricanes, galaxies, and DNA spirals. This is nature's favorite number, carved into alien metal. Imagine if your phone could check all passwords at once. This is the speed we're talking about. These aren't technologies of tomorrow. IBM and Google are already using these systems. They just managed to crack a code that shouldn't have existed. For 72 hours straight, quantum processors analyzed the possibilities. Each layer of symbols revealed new constants: the speed of light, the gravitational constant, numerical values that define reality. The sphere spoke not in words. It used the language of the universe itself. But this is where discomfort begins for scientists. This is not an approximation. They were precise, more precise than our best measurements. Whoever created this sphere knew physics better than us. But the ratio was only an appetizer. The real information was hidden in a deeper code. The second layer of symbols changed everything. When the quantum computer matched these patterns, they were no longer just numbers. They were resonant frequencies that made the research team stop and think, because they had seen these patterns before. LIGO detected them in 2015, gravitational waves from the collision of black holes. The engravings on the spheres perfectly matched the frequency signatures. They are not just similar. They are identical, like a metal sphere in Colombia that can capture the sound of black holes colliding a billion years ago. But wait, the third layer has become even stranger. The patterns have shifted into orbital resonances. The moons of Jupiter dance in perfect mathematical harmony. The rings of Saturn maintain their gaps thanks to gravitational music. Even the exoplanets we discovered last year, with their orbital ratios etched onto this sphere. Some physicists call it a cosmic Rosette Stone. Others believe it is something greater. Dr. Sarishan from the California Institute of Technology stated it plainly. If you want to preserve the operating system of space-time, this is how it's done. Consider what it means. Not just a message, not instructions, but a true mathematical architecture that makes reality function. The source code of existence is contained in symbols on a metallic sphere. This is not merely technology. It approaches something theological. We are creating computers that can process information. This field may represent electronic information. Pure mathematics has become physics. The results of the simulations sent shivers throughout the laboratory. When they modeled the interaction of three shells with specific frequencies, the sphere behaved not like an object, but like a resonant amplifier of cosmic tuning forks. Give it the right frequency, and it will reproduce the structure of space itself. Before telling what happened when they actually tested it, we strongly recommend you subscribe. What we will show you has never been publicly discussed, and you will be interested to know what the sound was like. Every physicist knows Einstein's famous phrase, "God does not play dice with the universe." Perhaps God doesn't need dice when the rules are already written. Or maybe we are just looking at the set of rules. When the team launched the resonance test, the sphere did not just react, it did something that violated three laws of physics. Quantum modeling revealed something no one expected. These three nested shells do not just exist. They create an electromagnetic bubble in a computer model that refracts light around it. This work has been ongoing since 2018. The Massachusetts Institute of Technology calls it metamaterial cloaking, a technology that makes an object invisible by directing photons around it, like water around a stone. However, the design of this sphere was decades ahead of its time. When researchers modeled the interaction of electromagnetic waves with aluminum layers, the results were strange. The light did not just bend. It twisted into a spiral, creating interference patterns that should not exist in known materials. Dr. Michael Torres from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology conducted the simulation 12 times, each time obtaining the same result. The layers act as a photon process, calculating the light itself. Now 9 microspheres float between the shells in the simulation. They are not random. Their arrangement corresponds to precise mathematical intervals, the golden ratio, and the Fibonacci sequence. Set any frequency for the model, and the microspheres will begin to resonate. It creates standing waves that enhance certain harmonics, like a quantum tuning fork that remembers every note ever heard. Remember those viral videos of Sanskrit chants making spheres vibrate? Modeling shows that this is possible not due to magic, but physics. Certain frequencies create resonant cascades through an intricate structure. The sphere acts as both a receiver and transmitter, perhaps even both. We do not claim this is alien technology, but imagine a hard drive that does not store files. It stores fields, magnetic fields, gravitational signatures, electrical patterns. According to the simulations conducted, this device can perform truly astonishing things. The most alarming simulation came from the California Institute of Technology. Researchers modeled what would happen if the sphere were transmitted, its own encoded frequencies engraved on its surface. The virtual sphere not only resonated, but created a localized distortion of spacetime. It was a tiny, microscopic yet measurable distortion. The use of aluminum microspheres should not have allowed this. We were already halfway through the exploration, having only slightly touched its surface. The sphere is not just an object. Perhaps it is the key to a dead reality, a data capsule storing physics rather than images. But further, we will show why some researchers believe these symbols are not just equations. They are coordinates, a star map pointing to places humanity has never been. The breakthrough occurred when someone stopped perceiving symbols as language. Dr. Lisa Park from Harvard's Astrophysics Department tried something new. She overlaid glyph patterns on star maps, the night sky of Earth, deep space, Andromeda, melanic clouds, globular clusters, older than our civilization. The coincidence was instantaneous. 3 sequences of symbols perfectly matched the sources of radio bursts. These are the coordinates: 20,220,000, 319 orbits, 20,210,000, 807. Mark the most powerful cosmic signals we have ever recorded. But what caused concern was that one pattern matched a source we had not yet catalogued, a position in space where nothing is visible, just emptiness between Andromeda and Triangulum. Quantum physics suggests that it is not empty. Something waits there. Consider what we did with the Voyager gold record, engraving music, mathematics, and DNA sequences onto metal. This is humanity, this place where we live. But what if this sphere is the same? Not from here, but from there. An umbrella carrying not only information, but also navigation. The perfect message in a bottle with a return address written in gravitational frequencies. Look at this overlay on the screen. These are not letters. This position, star coordinates, galactic GPS, but not for navigation on Earth. It is positioning in deep space, places barely reached by our telescopes. These patterns even mark pulsars, the most accurate clocks of nature. Guided by a pulsar, one can find their way through the galaxy. Any sufficiently advanced civilization capable of creating this would know of it. Jose Velasquez, the lead researcher, said something that resonated with everyone. We continue to search for radio signals from aliens. What if they don't use radio? What if they send spheres? The Voyager will drift for 40,000 years before reaching another star. This sphere made it here, untouched, functional, and still transmitting its signal to anyone clever enough to decode it. An ancient parallel continues to haunt us. Egyptian priestesses describe the eggs of gods falling from the sky. Sumerian texts mention divine spheres that hold the knowledge of creation. They depicted objects similar to these. And if there is at least one sphere, logic suggests that there must be many more. Rumors began to spread last month. A collector in Japan claims to have a smaller sphere with similar symbols and other patterns. No one has confirmed this information yet, but sources inside report that it is being taken very seriously. Indeed, if these spheres are probes, then they are not coincidental. They have their goals, and their placement on Earth was not accidental, as revealed by underground collectors' forums. Tokyo, July 25th, 2025. At the auction, the second sphere, smaller in diameter, 8 inches instead of 12, was presumably catalogued. The symbols differ, but the structure remains equally impossible. The collector does not intend to publish the information, but leaked photographs show familiar patterns, embedded shells, and engravings that cause discomfort because our mind understands they should not exist. That's why it's so important. If there are at least 2 such spheres, there are probably more. And if they are scattered across the Earth, then someone or something placed them there intentionally. Consider what these spheres might contain. Not just messages or technologies, but knowledge that could advance civilizations by centuries. Dr. Chen from the California Institute of Technology explained this in detail. Standard models of physics have gaps: dark matter, dark energy, quantum gravity. These areas may contain missing elements. Imagine if we could uncover even 10% of this. Energy networks that derive power from quantum vacuum fluctuations, engines that warp space without burning fuel, medical scanners capable of seeing waves of probability, not just tissues. This is not science fiction. Mathematics based on spheres has already shown us constants more precise than our best equipment can measure. Think about it. Truly ponder. If we could decipher even part of this technology, everything would change. The energy crisis would be a thing of the past. Space travel would revolutionize medical imaging, allowing diseases to be detected before symptoms appear. Perhaps that is why scientists are so cautious and fear missing something important. Only one anomaly of weight destroys our understanding. 16 pounds of steel suddenly turned into 22. No absorbed material, no chemical reaction, just mass appearing out of nowhere. One theory suggests that the sphere interacts with zero energy fields, literally pulling weight from quantum foam. If true, we are dealing not with a message, but with a device that connects to the fundamental mechanisms of space and time. This is no longer just a mystery in a Colombian field. This could be humanity's first contact with a Type 2 civilization technology that uses entire stars. But before drawing conclusions, let's set aside speculation. Allow us to show what we really know about this situation. March 17th, 2025, Buga, Colombia. Power lines are down. A metallic object falls in Juan Velasquez field. As it approaches, the grass within 30 feet is dead, dried up as if something drained all its moisture. The sphere has a diameter of 30 centimeters, corresponding to 12 inches. X-ray analysis confirmed by 3 independent laboratories. The object consists of 3 concentric aluminum shells with 95% purity. The remaining 5% consists of trace elements that do not match any known alloy. Between the shells are 9 microspheres floating in a perfect suspension. No wires, no magnets, they simply hang in the air. In the center may be a chip, silicon, or something else, but it's too small to extract without damaging the structure. Weight measurements were taken on different scales over several days. 16 pounds on the first day, 20 pounds on the 7th day, and 22 pounds on the 14th day. No explanations. Physics asserts that mass does not appear from nowhere, but the sphere calls these claims into question. Jose Velasquez leads a Mexican investigation team and has been dealing with meteorites for 20 years. He says, "I've never seen anything like this." Julia Masbridge from the University of California, San Diego wants the Galileo project at Harvard to be involved in the research. She does not claim it is an extraterrestrial object, but emphasizes that it requires serious study. This is real science, not conjectures from YouTube or videos with Sanskrit mantras that have not yet been verified. Nevertheless, the Colombian farmer swears that the sphere emitted a sound when his daughter sang near it, at a frequency of 432 hertz. The same frequency that some musicians call cosmic. Imagine it this way. You hold a smartphone case, but there is no phone inside. And this case can emit light, create fields, and even gain weight on its own. This is our reality. Mexican scientists have obtained a sphere, and NASA has requested samples. 3 universities want to study it. Everyone is cautious because if this is indeed technology, the one who understands it first will be able to change the world. Or perhaps the world is already changing. We have just found the instructions for this object and what remains for humanity. Standing on the brink of the greatest discovery in history or chasing coincidences and oddities, let's take a step back and see what we are really dealing with. A metallic sphere fell in Colombia, seamless and without welds, with 3 impossible shells that shouldn't exist. He increases his weight without adding mass. 16 pounds turn into 22. Physics cannot explain this. Dead vegetation stretches for 30 feet, with no radiation, no chemicals, just complete cellular dehydration in a perfect circle.